7.
Good evening, everyone. We at NISA want to thank each one of you for being here with us today, and we are delighted to start our very first segment of our Ed Talk series. So the idea behind our series is to talk about the pressing challenges we face with our education system. And we are trying to address them with our ongoing programs such as LMC, and we have a research project on learning loss and EndRead. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for our daily updates regarding the programs. So we have Dr. J.S. Prasanjyoti on our panel today. I'm going to be talking about him in a bit. He has 30 years of deeply rooted passion for education practice and research. He has emerged as a competent teacher, administrator, teacher, educator, trainer, and an active intellectual. He did not confine himself to the four walls of school. He established Shamuri Educational Research and Training Institute and organized several training programs for the students on study skill and career guidance, on parents and parenting skills, for teachers on educational philosophy, psychology, methodology, technology, and class management skills. The private school principals of several districts of Andhra Pradesh were trained by Dr. Prasanjyoti through his novel training program called CPEP, which is also called Correspondence Professional Enrichment Program. Currently, he is serving as the chairman at Oasis Public School and as an advisor of international affairs at NISA. So now we can start with the panel talk. Welcome, sir. Welcome to NISA Talk series.
Thank you, Nandita. I welcome all the viewers, especially the education lovers and educationists, to this first of its kind, NISA Ed Talk. So NISA Ed Talk is a series that is beginning today and will bring in a lot of educationists to share their experiences, their views, and their ideas. And I'm delighted to be the first to be delivering the talk under the banner NISA Ed Talk. As you all know, for the information of the viewers who are not acquainted with NISA, NISA is National Independent Schools Alliance, which is spread pan-India, almost in 28 states, in 75,000 schools are members of NISA. We are working towards quality improvement, and during this pandemic, NISA has undertaken n number of programs, countrywide, nationwide, and also in the states and districts. And as a part of these programs, bringing in quality by bringing about awareness about quality education is what NISA is all committed for. As we all know that learning loss due to pandemic is the biggest challenge now faced by educationists all over the country and for that matter, all over the world. In order to face this and find solutions, we are all as educators are like doing a lot of research in trying to understand our students, train our teachers, and also educate the parents to be the proper shareholders and stakeholders in the process of education. Today, my talk would be going to help the school leaders understand that what could be the problems that we face on reopening our schools. What are the various issues that we have been facing during this time? As a part of this, we are going to have exercising leadership in schools, post-COVID era 2021, academic and administrative perspective. So this is, as you know, is being organized by NISA, the National Independent Schools Alliance. And let us contemplate, dear friends, what are the impacts of the pandemic, COVID-19, on school leadership nationwide in our independent budget private schools? What can we do to support school leaders and sustain leadership in the years to come, that is post-COVID-19 era. If we see that there's a lot of impact on our budget private schools, and that impact has pushed us into a lot of uncertainty. Even in normal days, the role of independent budget private schools leaders is stressful and complex. As you all know, that har ek din we pass through a lot of stress. But adding to it, during the pandemic, this pandemic has most certainly magnified and deepened the complexity. But yet, we have started the school year 2021 and 22 shortly, and we are looking with hope towards the days to come. Yes, certainly that we are all looking forward. But if you see the global scenario, there's a lot of patchwork in education system is evolving, because this concept of patchwork in the education system is concerned, like earlier it was all like, combined together, we were all working together. Now all the stakeholders have become kind of divided, and everybody is working in their own area segment, or it's been divided into patches. So now this patchwork, now bringing all this together is what is happening. Learning loss and classroom inequity has increased a lot. During the final months of the academic year 2019 and 20s, millions of students and teachers and school leaders and parents saw their lives upended overnight. No two experiences of this pandemic have been the same, particularly when it comes to the affordable budget private schools and the communities. Yes, pandemic not only has affected the low-income students to fall behind, but in contrary, it has propelled the wealthier students to go even further ahead. Yes, this distinction is seen. Fundamentally speaking, from the view of the Constitution, education is the tool that is required to minimize the differences between haves and have-nots. That is the objective of the Constitution, to bring in an egalitarian and equatorial society. Education is the best tool to bring that equality in the society. But because of pandemic, the more students who are supposed to be needy, they are all ignored because of various reasons. And the students who are from like affluent families, they had forwarded and they furthered a lot, and widening the gap between the haves and have-nots. So, like it is mentioned that this learning loss amounted to nearly 232 days of learning loss. It was like mostly in math during these 4 months, in the beginning 4 months of virtual schooling. So, what lasting academic and economic effects could coronavirus schools shutdown have on this generation of students? Yes, there is a lot of effect on this generation of students, both academic and economical. When we go to the grassroots, when we sit in the cities and see, we really don't understand. But when we go to the real India, that which is in the rural India, we will come to know that the parents who are aspiring for quality education, who join their children in the affordable budget private schools, really are the biggest victims now. Research shows changing schools can make or break a student. The changing schools can either make or break a student, but the wave of post-COVID mobility, is challenging the systems in a way that we have never seen before. Internet inequity persisted, so schools adapted by switching to online classes, and some schools have embraced creative solutions, loaning out thousands of devices and dispatching Wi-Fi equipped school buses into low connectivity neighborhoods. That's a great relief. The large scale tolerance for inequity in this country gave rise to equitable education system through budget private schools. Therefore, I am happy to dedicate this presentation of exercising leadership in schools post-COVID era, academic and administrative perspective, to all the unsung heroes of independent budget private schools in our country and the members of NISA. Because we consider that Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, like we think that Jawan is protecting this country, holding a weapon in the frontiers, and Kisan is holding the plow and producing the food grains. But I wish to say it is Jai Shikshak. It is the teacher who is really creating this nation, and therefore we are the unsung heroes, and mostly the independent budget private school leaders are the unsung leaders, unsung heroes to whom this presentation or this talk can be dedicated. So in this presentation, I'm going to deal with three important components. One being, we examine the impact of the pandemic on leadership in independent budget private schools. We are going to examine the impact of pandemic on the leadership in our schools. Two, we verify increased stress in the school leaders, which come not only from the professional difficulties, but also from the changing mindset of the community and the stakeholders. If we observe, there's a lot of mindset change in the government bodies, as well as in the parents also. We have seen that the political mindset of the rulers have asked the parents not to pay the fees. And the parents, having sent the children to school in 2019-20, where in the March, where they are supposed to pay the fees, they have blatantly kept away from paying the fees. Until today, 45 to 50% of the fees of the academic year 2019-20 are pending due to be collected. There's a lot of mindset change. There's a lot of mindset change. And even if we see the teachers also, because of the situation, because of the uncertainty, most of them have opted to change their profession also and have gone into other livelihood professions. Number three, we explore what school leaders can do in exercising their leadership to support individual schools and sustain quality academic and administrative control in the years to come. Yes, of course, we are downhearted, we are depressed, we are all like confused. Okay, we know not what to do with academics and economical condition of the schools, but still it is time. We have to examine, we have to verify, and we have to explore the present situation, how best in the coming years we can come out of this situation. My point number one is professional stress and financial burnout during the COVID-19. Yes, during the COVID-19 pandemic, it has threatened the professional uncertainty, and career shift has happened in many school leaders. Yes, some of them died. Very unfortunate heart attacks, blood pressure, uncontrollable sugar, different types of stress-borne diseases. I think more than 1,000 school leaders have really left this world because of this professional pressure and uncertainty. And some of them even shifted their career, okay, into other professions. The longevity of the pandemic, endless monotony laced with acute anxiety. Acute anxiety, I specifically use this term. Yes, everybody in and out, day and day, everybody was suffering with acute anxiety, had contributed to a sense that time was moving differently and difficultly. The stress and tedium have dulled school leaders' ability to form meaningful new memories. Every day we are habituated to form new memories. हर दिन जब स्कूल गए अपन कुछ ना कुछ नया मेमोरी लेके घर जाते थे. एक बच्चे को पढ़ा के, किसी को अटेंड करके, किसी को motivate करके, we were like, we had the great habit of collecting new memories and going, and we were able to build upon our administrative activity on our old strategies. But now there is neither new memories nor to continue the old strategies. Nothing, no old strategy could really bring the children to school or reopen the school or even bring them to the online classes or retain the teachers. That was the state of mind, and that the kind of stress and tedium we were passing through. Professional stress has even led us to financial hardships also. People may be having a harder time forming working memories and paying attention, with a reduced ability to hold things in their minds, manipulate thoughts, and plan for the future. This was said by Sarah Lyall. Okay, 1 in 4. My second point is, junior level school leaders feel the professional stress and financial burnout more, because the senior school leaders, somehow they had some reserves, they had some own buildings, they had some kind of financial stability. But the newly started junior level school leaders, they were unable to pay the rents. They had the running of the EMIs. All kinds of financial stress was there. Therefore, 1 in 4 junior school leaders are contemplating shifting their careers or leaving the profession temporarily or for good. That was the state of mind of the school leaders all over the country. Fewer schools have taken steps to adjust the norms and expectations that are most likely responsible for professional stress and financial burnout. Yes, some schools have taken some steps or adjusted the norms and came to the expectations of the parents and other stakeholders to come out of this professional stress and the financial burnout. But less than a third of schools have adjusted only 1/3, less than a third have adjusted their performance through review of the criteria to account for the challenges created by the pandemic. Only about half have updated processes and employees in their schools for performance reviews and productivity expectations during COVID-19. Therefore, now my fourth point would be, I would like to come up with 6 consistencies if we practice as school leaders during this post-COVID-19, we can have a smoother and better administration. These 6 consistencies, which are becoming increasingly important for school leaders to navigate their schools, these are not the only consistencies leaders encounter post-COVID school administration, but these are the ones most urgent in today's context and will remain important even in the future also. These are not meant for just post-COVID situation. These are going to be now remain important even throughout in our future. So therefore, these consistencies should be considered as a system. We have to evolve based on these 6 consistencies. I would rather recommend my colleagues to evolve a system because they impact each other. These 6 consistencies will impact each other. So they are interlinked, they are twined. So therefore, I need you to have a balanced approach, okay, simultaneously. So now these 6 consistencies for administration are, yes, earlier we were the proud hero. Every school leader was a proud hero. हर एक के स्कूल में वो स्कूल लीडर जो है ना, वो the proudest hero, because every parent was thinking, अगर मेरा बच्चे इनको दे दिए तो मेरा बच्चे इस सोसाइटी में कुछ लायक और कामयाब बच्चे बनेंगे. So that was the kind of confidence that the society was having or reposed in the school leader. If you see, people were not believing the political leaders. Now presently, if you observe, they were not believing anybody. They were not believing even officials also. anything good comes to this world is through education, and people were believing, mostly the middle class and lower middle class were believing the budget private schools, independent budget private school leaders. Yes, that's the reason he is in the society, is the proud hero. But now I would propose, let us get rid of that proud, okay, blazer aside and assume being humble, because the situation deserves and it requires us to be humble. Now we are hero, no doubt, but let us modify the title being a proud hero into a humble hero. Now my second quality is strategic executor. Yes, sir. Old strategies will not work anymore. Now we have to bring in new strategies in recruiting the teachers, in selecting the curriculum, in training the teachers, in attending to the parents, and in overall preparing our children for the post-pandemic learning and evolving. We should become a strategic executor. Okay, now we have to review our institutional strategy. Now we have to review the institutional culture. What kind of a culture is existing in our institution? How we can really bring about that kind of a culture or kind of a strategy that could really bring back the last glory into our institutions. And third is traditional innovator. Yes, sir, we have to become, now innovation should become a tradition in our institutions. Therefore, I use the term, the third consistency of the school leadership should be traditional innovator. We have to keep on innovating, trial and error, time and again. We have to make a collection. The other day I was talking to Kulbhushanji. I was telling every school leader is successful because he has something special. Not only he is special, but he has something special. That is the reason the society reposes confidence in their institution. Therefore, I was proposing to our Kulbhushanji, the president of NISA, saying that, sir, we have to make a collection of the best practices in the institutions, because we have to make an encyclopedia of the best practices. Yes, every school leader is an innovator. Okay, depending on their situations. Situations differ from place to place, institution to institution, and that is the reason, state to state. Therefore, we have to evolve and innovate. So my fourth consistency would be techno-savvy humanist. Yes, sir. We are becoming dehumanized because of technology. Yes, we have to take together, hand in glove, technology and humanity should go together. So therefore, my fourth consistency, which we should continue to have, is now school leaders. I was telling the other day when I was addressing, madam, if you have a dozen or a half dozen ear tops, please sell 2 of them, have the best of the laptop or the iPad, okay, recently. Yes, we have to take, now don't depend on others for technology usage. As school leaders, we have to become technologically capable. So now everything is driven by technology. Therefore, the school leader also should become a techno-savvy and blended with humanity, because that is very, very important. Okay, at the cost of technology, you should never forego being a humanist. So therefore, my fourth consistency is technology savvy and humanist. Now, my fifth consistency will be globally minded localist. Yes, this is what Gandhiji has said long back. Okay, think global, live local. Yes, we have to now, because of the internet, because of the technology, whatever is happening in Finland, in London, in Japan, China, Germany, US, UK, everywhere we are able to access and know. We have to join the forums. We have to come into contact with the educationists. We have to come into contact with the schools. We have to organize that kind of communities that where, like, we have to become globally minded. We have to find out in our field what are the innovations that are happening, how we can become globally minded. In Sanskrit, there is a term called Kupastha Manduk, like like a frog that dwells in a well, thinks that I am the chief, I am everything. This world, this well is the world. Okay, we have to come out of that and become a globally minded. But you have to take into consideration while applying the globally procured concepts or the methods which are locally, they should be suitable. Therefore, the fifth consistency from my side will be globally minded localist. And my last one will be high integrity policymaker. Yes, sir. I would like to impress upon and emphasize all my school leaders. Sir, somebody's policy is not suitable to us. Yes, new education policy is made, but as a budget private school or an organization of budget private schools, we should have our own policy which is suitable to us. Of course, aligned with the national policy, but still we should have our own institution-wise national policy, as well as, it should have that high integrity, combination of all these things. Okay, so become not a policy follower, but a policy maker. So you have to keep evolving time and again, reviewing the policy and making new policies that could really satisfy our stakeholders and take our institution ahead. So my dear friends, these are the 6 consistencies I would really want you to evolve as a system and keep them together, blended them together, and these 6 consistencies would redefine our administration in days to come. Now coming to my 5th point, I need the resetting of the school leaders' agenda in post-pandemic administration. Good leaders will have to rebuild the boundaries. Yes, sir. We have to now modify our frontiers. Earlier, we were thinking, मैं ऐसे ही करूंगा, अब ऐसे ही करना है. This is what I can do. This is my style. This is what I can do. No, sir. If you wanted to be in this field, in this post-pandemic era, having had such big blows, both financially and emotionally, we have to now rebuild our boundaries. Yes, sir. We have to now rebuild we have to remark our frontiers, both personal, professional, and social life. I would rather tell you, sir, take a lot of personal care. A personal, अब ये exercise मेरे से नहीं होता, ये पढ़ना ये मेरे से नहीं होता, ये सब छोड़ देना, sir. If you are physically healthy, if you are mentally sound, then your leadership will take your institution to higher levels. So therefore, I request all the school leaders to please take your care of your personal self, your personal body self, your emotional self, okay, your intelligent selves, everything. Okay, I request you to read more literature, read more books, acquire more knowledge, attend more workshops, professionally become more competent, which can suit. Otherwise, sir, if you are not updated, you are very early, very shortly, you will be going to be outdated. And no school or this present generation parents who are coming to our institutions, they have seen the pandemic. They have now technologically become advanced. Okay, they know how our teachers are teaching. Having stayed at home, they have seen how in the online classes our teachers are teaching. Earlier, they had no access. Now the parent is also advanced, sir. We have to advance ourselves. So personally and professionally, lot of advancement should happen by rebuilding our boundaries. Now I'm talking about the social life also. Yes, sir. We need to have our social life, because what's happening in the society and how we can relate that in our institutions, in our professional life is all very important. Therefore, I make it a triangle, a very important, very powerful triangle: personal, professional, and social. Everything you do, anything you do should be viewed through this prism of personal, professional, and social life. And we have to rebuild our boundaries and remark our frontiers. Now coming to correspondents, I request the school leaders, respondents in a study by CEMS Global Alliance in Management Education, they have believed that leadership skills that such as these are very important in the post-crisis, post-pandemic crisis, such as openness. Yes, let us be open now. Openness is very important. Empathy, resilience, and ability to communicate will be of greater importance in the post-crisis. Apart from these four, I give you two add-ons also: strategic vision and digital skills for all the stakeholders. These are very important. These are very, very important for all the stakeholders. We should have openness. We should have empathy for each other. We should have resilience, okay, and ability to communicate with all the stakeholders, and strategic vision and digital skills. So I request all the school leaders, while resetting our school leadership agenda, we must also take into consideration the school leaders need to make investment in post-pandemic leadership skills. Actually, teaching the children with old centuries skills, teaching the children of this century, preparing them for the next century is always a mismatch. The same applies to us also. If you wanted to run the schools with the pre-pandemic leadership skills, sir, we are outdated, sir. Therefore, now we have to rebuild our post-pandemic leadership skills. Yes, whether you attend a NISA educational talk like this, or take a course on the leadership skills and the way that we have to improve our leadership skills, as well as I also advocate that we have to think about building our human capital also. What is human capital? The knowledge, the skills, the attitudes, the abilities to get work done and have our institutions develop, our families develop, individuals develop. That is the human capital through these methods such as training and professional development. This is the chief priority of the school leadership. I very strongly recommend, sir, we have to undergo post-pandemic leadership skills, and we have to develop our human capital by involving ourselves in relearning and undergoing training, making mindset change, attitudinal modification, and skill set development. And this is all is what it should become the chief and top priority for the school leaders in order to run our school successfully in the post-pandemic era. And my sixth point would be, we have to do the diversification, diversifying leadership ranks by developing junior talent. Yes, sir. If you are a very senior school leader, sir, now it is time. It is time, your head, but let us take and develop the junior talent also. Associations across the world are affirming their commitments to diversity and change. What change shall we bring? What diversity shall we bring about in our institutions? Companies and institutions spend heavily on procurement and maintenance, relatively little spent on measurable training to help junior leaders move up. Yes, we have to train up our junior leaders to move up in the ladder of leadership. Yes, sir. अगर आपका उम्र 25 साल से बड़ा है, तो मेरा एक गुजारिश है कि आपके बच्चों को ज्यादा सा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दीजिए। या आपका बच्चे आपका स्कूल लीडरशिप में आने का या तैयार नहीं है, if they are not prepared, come on, identify some young teachers or administrators in your own institution and train them up and give them the responsibilities. Because अब मेरा ये ऑब्जर्वेशन है, आजकल का पेरेंट जो अपने स्कूल को आ रहे, उनमें से ज्यादा सा लोग जो अपने उम्र से कनेक्ट हो सकते उसको फोर फ्रंट पे रखना चाहिए. I would rather advocate, please bring the leadership that can connect well with the mindset of the present day parents. So therefore, train up and move up the junior leadership. And the skills of school leaders, those used before pandemic and required to do the same job post pandemic. जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन करने के लिए बिफोर द पैंडेमिक जो जो स्ट्रैटेजीज अपन यूज करते थे, आई थिंक दोज आर नाउ पोस्ट पैंडेमिक में वो जमता नहीं. इट डजंट रियली मैच. These two jobs are completely different from one another. So therefore, I would rather tell we need to have a change of our leadership, our mindset and skill set. Associations and schools can create. I would rather request अपना निशा और सारे स्टेट्स के स्टेट एसोसिएशंस और डिस्ट्रिक्ट एसोसिएशन से मेरा एक गुजारिश है, प्लीज टेक अप regular, even people like me, we are ready, sir. We are ready to talk to your state association and district association. We need a training to evolve. The post-pandemic leadership training skills are required. So I request the associations and schools to create targeting training to support the school leaders in bridging the skills and diversity gaps. So this should be understood as a prime requirement and priority of the associations. And even at school level also, we have to now train up our teachers, train up our administrators with new skills that they require to handle the students and the faculty to give the best outputs during the post-pandemic time. Now, my seventh point would be areas in which today's schools leaders should feel the most and least prepared. If I see that which are the areas our school leaders, they feel they are least prepared or most prepared. Let me tell that tasks and issues where school leaders earlier felt the most confident of attending or resolving are now made more complicated by the pandemic. Honestly speaking, इतने सालों से स्कूल चला के जो भी प्रॉब्लम इमर्ज होते थे वो अपना दाया हाथ का काम था. I mean, that was like, such easy we could have managed. But now financial problems, administrative problems, recruitment problems, syllabus completion problems, learning outcomes problems, all these have become so complicated because children have come with so much of learning loss, and we know not, teachers are confused how to bring up. Yes, we have to now evolve new methods, new ways. You have to create a new culture all the while, okay, in order to see this. Therefore, I propose Sweet 16 checkpoints to the school leaders for their preparedness to run the schools in the post-pandemic. I repeat once again, I am here with a solution pack of Sweet 16 checkpoints for the school leaders, okay, to have their preparedness to run the schools in the post-pandemic. My first one being handling parents and working with families. Yes, sir. Now we have to redefine. कभी-कभी अपन मिलने से इनकार करते थे. We were not prepared to meet the parents. Now I would rather advise the school leaders to be available in the morning and evening at the entrance or at least at the porticos of the school buildings. Come on, smile. Like, smile at the parent when they are coming in. Smile at the child. Find out their well-being. Have a word with the parents. Come on, be available, be seen, so that the parent also feels confident. Give them confidence that I'm there. My huna, hum hai na. This kind of a confidence doesn't come by putting it on the paper and sending or displaying a poster physically. And what is the strength of the budget private schools? The school leader or leadership is the strength. Most of the parents, they don't see the school, but they see the school leader and they join the children. Therefore, being available is very important. Handling parents. Earlier, we used it to ignore, or we used it to neglect, or sometimes we use it to refuse. But now we have to modify. Working with families is very, very important, sir. Now, my second checkpoint would be, please check how you are handling the parents. Sir, I would rather tell you, now you ask your life partner, घर में पूछे क्या मेरा पेरेंट्स से जो संबंध है, पेरेंट्स को जो रेस्पेक्ट करने का है, उनका कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्ड करने में क्या मैं कुछ मॉडिफाई होने का है क्या? अपने धर्मपत्नी से और अपने टीचर से, अपने सीनियर फ्रेंड से पूछिए. ओके, फाइंड आउट. ओके, मेक ए चेक पॉइंट सर and redefine yourself. My second take will be serving as a quality ambassador to retain the existing students and attract the new students. Sir, this is very important. Quality में कुछ भी कम नहीं आए. ये पैंडेमिक से ये स्कूल में जो है ना, तो क्वालिटी कुछ कम हुआ, या टीचर्स को क्वालिटी कम हुआ, लाइक नो द केयर थोड़ा कम हुआ, कैंपस में जो क्वालिटी का अपीयरेंस कम हो गया. ये सब जो है ना बैड प्रोपेगेंडा चलते रहता है. I'll take that point next, but I would like to, sir, your second checkpoint, ma'ams, dear friends, your second checkpoint should be, we should be a quality ambassador. It is to retain. हर एक स्टूडेंट का नाम अपने जबान के ऊपर होना चाहिए. Yes sir, tell your computer operator to give you a class-wise printout of the students' database, including their photograph. Keep going through that list. Remember the names. Whenever the child appears, okay, examine their books, examine their writing, examine their notes, okay, get deep into, because earlier, how in the beginning of the school, how as a school leader, when you establish the school, how you individually involved, engaged yourself, and were able to tell about every child's performance to every parent without referring to anything, just by getting the information from your mind onto your tongue. We should redefine ourselves in that manner now. It should become like that. Now, coming to the third point, modifying school climate and evolving new school culture. This is what I was telling. Please check how is the school climate. Abhi डर डर के स्कूल को भेज रहे आ रहे या नहीं, तो like how is the school climate? Is it welcoming? Is it happy? Is it feel secured? This is what the school leader has to check. Sir, now your third checkpoint is this, and you have to consistently, by involving the stakeholders, टीचर्स से पूछिए, अपने पीटी मास्टर से पूछिए, पेरेंट्स से पूछिए, क्या मॉडिफिकेशंस लाना है स्कूल में. व्हाट इज दैट वी हैव टू इवॉल्व, व्हाट इज दैट वी हैव टू मॉडिफाई इन ऑर्डर टू मेक आवर स्कूल ए वेरी न्यू लुक स्कूल, a new climate school, a new cultured school. This is what is my third checklist. And my fourth would be updating school statistics. Yes, sir. Find out how much is collected. I'll tell to academic, to economical, everything. It should be on the fingertips or on the tongue tip of the school leader. कितने बच्चे हैं, कितने बच्चे आ रहे हैं, how many students are regularly attending, how many are not attending, how many are attending blended learning. This all should be on the fingertips. Yes, tell your office people to give you the extracts and they should be on your table. List of students who are leaving the school, reasons for leaving the school, list of the teachers, timetable, everything, either through LMS or on the system or on the paper, whether it is a hard copy or a soft thing on your program. Okay, everything sir, we should have update the school statistics, records, and organizing a change management. Yes, we have to do that change management. Now coming to the fifth point, managing pandemic plans and engaging in risk management. Yes, sir. Still, it is suspicious. There are news yesterday, 2 days back, on a newspaper called Indian Express. There was an article again in Hyderabad. There are cases recording now. In some school, yes, some 6 students recorded. Yes, sir. Now, don't become careless about the pandemic management. Yes, be careful and see that this management is done absolutely well. Okay, and that risk management should be taken care. Now, sixth one is retaining and recruiting and training the teachers and other staff. Yes, every staff member should be newly trained now how to handle children. Teachers, basically, they must be prepared. Please conduct a position test. I mean, like after this heavy learning loss, where are the children now? How can I handle them? How can I restart, okay, with level-based learning, level-based training? These are all very important. Okay, conduct enormous number of training programs to our teachers for them to gain the confidence of the students and bring them from the present through the present position test. We will come to know where they are step by step. Use the right material, engage the parents, involve them together, try to bring them up and try to cover the gaps and overcome the learning gap. And because in budget private schools, we don't have much cooperation from the parents. So the teacher should be trained to play the dual role of both of the parent and that of the teacher. Okay. And now coming to the seventh checkpoint would be working with various departments and social organizations. Yes, sir. Yeah. Now our NISA has bring in Bolo English. Similar, lot of programs are given, okay, to the schools. Most of them are free. Most of them are from the CSR. Yes, sir. Bring in all these. Bring about like such kind of information. Bring access to the information and see that our children come and they engage. Engaging in and monitoring curriculum management. Yes, sir. Come on, take the new curriculum which is suitable, which can reflect the objectives of the new education policy 2020 and engage and monitor the curriculum. And developing, ninth point would be checkpoint is developing innovative teaching and learning support systems also. Come on, modify, sir, provide. Then 10th one would be navigating qualitative and quantitative learning outcomes. Yes, not only qualitative, but quantitative, both. You have to, as a school leader, you have to navigate qualitative and quantitative learning outcomes. Now, 11th checkpoint being managing schools, revenues, and overall financial health. Financial health, academic and economical, both are like two rails of a train on which the budget private school should go. So therefore, managing the school revenues, talking, knowing who is unable to pay, how you can influence the parent to realize and have the create that responsibility to pay the fees and bring in the required revenues, paying the teachers full salary and bringing them and taking care of them and their families is also very important, and other staff members. Bring in that financial health of the institution. That is another 11th checkpoint. 12th is creating and upkeeping, absorbing campus atmosphere. It should be absorbing, sir. When the children come, they should feel comfortable and it should also look innovative, new, fresh, new, creative. This is all the qualities that should appear. And 13th is handling internal and external conflicts and legal issues also. Internal issues. Now everybody is under stress. They want a let out. Sometimes staff, there will be conflicts between the staff and management, parents and teachers. So these all should be resolved. And even some legal issues also, the association is helping the member institutions to resolve. Okay. Now, my last 3 checkpoints would be maintaining community connect and addressing anti-propaganda. Yes, again the schools, sometimes our own neighboring schools or corporate schools, international schools, they will do anti-propaganda against the budget private schools. Come on, maintain that community connect and see that anti-propaganda is addressed, prevented or resolved. Now 15th one would be creating and consistently following institutional development plan. Yes, sir. Year-wise development plan, phase-wise school development plan should be developed, and you have to draft it and involve all the stakeholders and see that you create it and consistently follow it and let the institution grow. Now 16th would be helping the students to grow. Very important, sir. The entire process is put in one statement: help the students to grow. All-round development of the students is the very and one and only goal of the institution. Growth of the student is the goal of the institution, for which leads to the families to flourish, okay, and make a difference in other lives. So, sir, as school leaders, I have other points, but because I wanted to confine to this, okay, so I would rather end up with saying that, okay, so now like research-based self-care, ABC tips for school leader. Take some me time also, sir. Build your overall self day by day and every day. Physical, mental, emotional, financial, and social. These 5 areas. Take some me time and build yourself anew. Then practice self-compassion. Sir, I require, yes, now as you use the self-compassion as a salient communicator of inspiration, have that self-compassion. Take care of yourself, sir. Not only taking care of others. And once you know how to be compassionate about yourself, you apply the same to others. Build others' leadership capacity. Yes, sir. Your teachers, your students. If you are a school association leader, district leader, state leader, national leader, please build your leadership capacity and help others to build. Distributed leadership model empowers staff to take ownership and lead more effectively, and it takes pressure off the school leader. You should be pressure free. The moment people look at you, you should not become an embodiment of pressure, but a symbol of pleasure. Okay, so don't try to do it all yourself, but rely upon a team and build your dream team. So now, before I end, I'll recall saying that arise, awake, and achieve. Maya Angelou, who was a teacher, who is a novelist, who is a great humanist, who has to her 500 awards during her lifetime. She has won. What not to say, sir? She's a poet, she's a dramatist, she's an actor. Okay, like she tells her poem quite suitably fits our situation. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may write me down. You may write me down an affordable private school leader. You may write society. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies against me. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I will raise. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes and springing high, still I will rise. As a budget private school leader, I will still rise. Living behind nights of terror and fear, I raise what we experienced during the pandemic. Living behind the nights of terror and fear, I raise into a daybreak that's wondrous, clear, and I raise. I really appreciate. हम उड़ जाएंगे, उड़ते उड़ते जाएंगे, अपने स्कूल्स निभाएंगे जो अपने कंधों पे है. ये देश का निर्माण हम है. We are the builders of this nation. and we are the builders of new India. Arise, awake, achieve, my school leaders. And leading is a privilege. It's an honor. Okay. Good actions give strength to ourselves and inspire good actions in others. What was said years, hundreds of years back by Plato. My message to my friends is the value of collaboration and combined wisdom is crucial to continual improvement. We are all doing well and we can do better together. We are all doing well as individuals, but we can do better together. Together, we nurture a culture of continued development, improvement, and all-round growth of our institutions and our friends. Thanks a lot. With humility, I humbly submit. Thanks a lot for listening, and I await your advice for further learning. Okay, sir, stop not. Let us awake and achieve what we are destined for. And if you have any questions, I'm available for those interaction. Please, I leave it now to Nandita to please take questions. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. Nandita, over to you.
Nandita, unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an enlightening talk. It was a very beautiful talk, especially your ending with the poem. She's one of my favorite poets, Maya Angelou.
Excellent.
And it's good to go back to her. And we should all keep reading. Sir made a very good point. We should all keep reading because reading takes us places where we cannot go otherwise. And he also made a very great point that our academic self is very much embedded in our social self. So we need to talk about that and think about it in the pedagogy in schools and classrooms. And thank you so much, sir, for being here with us. It was really great having you. And I hope everyone enjoyed his talk. And if you have any questions, any queries, you can just write to us and we can always hand it over to sir and sir can always be here and talk about it again. And our next talk would be happening next month. And I hope we all will see you again. And very soon we'll be coming out with a new speaker. And since it was a first segment, it was a very good segment and very entertaining as well. Sir came up with the literature. So yeah, I love literature. It's really great. I think we should talk about it more in schools. So yeah, thank you so much, sir. It was great talking to you. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you so much, sir.
Good day.